Interesting and scary facts about the Ouija board and its origin. Many people consider Ouija boards a tool of the devil, this writer included. Others consider this board a harmless family game. A few believe this board gives a fascinating glimpse into the unconscious mind. So where did this board originate? Why did some see it as a tool of the devil? Why is its origin not well known? I made this video so we can answer these questions together. So join me on my journey of discovery concerning this board and its origin. Welcome to LadderCat Productions, the place for health, science, and fun. Our journey begins in 1891 with the KENNARD novelty company creating the board. However, Charles KENNARD enticed 4 investors to form a company to exclusively create the board because he had heard of a talking board in Ohio of spiritualist camps gaining popularity that had letters, numbers, and a planchette-like device pointing to them. The men saw this as a money-making gimmick since they were businessmen, but they were not into spiritualism. The papers advertised this board as Ouija board, the wonderful talking board, and talking it did. The makers of the first talking board asked the board what they should call it. The name Ouija came through, and when they asked the board what Ouija meant, the board replied, "Good luck." This was contrary to popular belief that "oui" was from the French word yes and "ja" the German word for yes. A Pittsburgh toy and novelty shop described the board as a magical device that answered the questions about the past, present, and future with marvelous accuracy. It also promised never-failing amusement and recreation for all the classes, a link between the known and unknown, the material and immaterial. Another advertiser in New York declared it interesting and mysterious. It also said the board proved itself in the patent office before it was allowed. The board was asked to spell out the patent officer's name, and remarkably, it did. The original patent offered no explanation as to how the board worked. It just stated it did. That ambiguity and mystery may have been part of a marketing effort. The price of the board was $1.50. One reason it was so well received is before this board's creation, the answers from spirits were slow to receive, and this frustrated and bored people who tried to contact the dead. The original Ouija board was similar as it is today. A flat board with 2 semicircles of letters above the numbers 0 to 9, the words yes and no in the uppermost corners, goodbye at the bottom. A tear-shaped planchette, usually with a small window in the body, used to maneuver about the board. 2 or more people would sit around the board, place their fingertips on the planchette, pose a question, and watch dumbfounded as the planchette moved from letter to letter, spelling out the answer seemingly of its own accord. Today's board is made of cardboard rather than wood, and the planchette is plastic. The real history of the Ouija board is just as mysterious as how the board works. Ouija historian Robert Murch said for such an iconic thing that strikes fear and wonder in American culture, how come no one knows where it came from? Many people believe it was created because of the 19th century obsession with spiritualism. First, it was popular in England, then it became popular in America in 1848 with the claims of the Fox sisters from upstate New York. The sisters claimed to have received messages from spirits who rapped on the walls in response to questions posed. This started a frenzy of recreating this feat of channeling in parlors across the state. It became an acceptable, even wholesome activity to contact spirits at seances through automatic writing or table-turning parties, in which participants would place their hands on a small table and watch it to begin to shake and rattle, while they all declared they weren't moving it. Some feel the spiritual movement offered solace to the living in a world where the average lifespan was 50. Women died in childbirth, children died of disease, and men died in war. Even Mary Todd Lincoln, the wife of Abraham Lincoln, conducted seances in the White House, trying to contact her 11-year-old son who died of a fever in 1862. With the war that soon followed, spiritualism even became more popular due to so many leaving to fight in the Civil War and never returning. It's interesting how acceptable in society it was then, while many today believe it's a doorway to evil and hell. The board made a lot of money and many factories sprung up consequently. An employee, Fald, who had gotten in on the ground floor of the company, was later running the company when Kennard and another investor left the business. Interestingly, Fald died in 1927 after a freak fall from the roof of his new Ouija factory, a factory he told others the Ouija board told him to build. The 1910s and 1920s, with the devastation of World War I and the many years of the Jazz Age and Prohibition, witnessed a surge in Ouija popularity. In 1920, would-be crime solvers were turning to the board for answers concerning the murder of a New York City gambler, Joseph Burton Elwell, much to the chagrin of the police. In 1921, a Chicago woman being sent to a psychiatric hospital said the Ouija board told her to leave her dead mother's body in the living room for 15 days before burying her in the backyard. In 1930, two women in Buffalo, New York, who murdered a woman said the Ouija board told them to. In 1941, a 23-year-old gas attendant from New Jersey told the New York Times that he joined the army because the Ouija board told him to. In 1958, a Connecticut court decided not to honor the Ouija board will of Helen Doe Peck, who left only a grant to two former servants and $152,000 to Mr. John Gale Forbes, a lucky but bodiless spirit who had contacted her via the Ouija board. The Ouija board use was considered at first as completely normal, and in May 1920, Norman Rockwell, illustrator of blissful 20th century domesticity, depicted a man and a woman with Ouija board on their knees, communicating with the beyond on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post. In 1916, Mrs. Pearl Curran made headlines when she claimed that the poems and writing she did was dictated via the Ouija board by the spirit of a 17th century English woman called Patience Worth. The following year, Curran's friend Emily Grant Hutchings claimed her book, Jap Heron, was communicated via Ouija board by the late Samuel Clemens, better known as Mark Twain. In 1982, the poet John Merrill said his poem, The Changing Light at Sandover, that won the National Book Critics Award, said the Ouija board helped magnetize his own poetic thoughts. In 1966, Parker Brothers bought the game from the Fald Company and in 1967 sold 2 million boards, outselling Monopoly. Hasbro acquired Parker Brothers in 1991 and still sold hundreds of thousands of them. In 1973, the movie The Exorcist scared the pants off of people in theaters that was reportedly based on a true story of a 12-year-old girl named Reagan who became possessed by a demon after playing with the board by herself. Then, people began to fear the board. Ouija boards are not, scientists say, powered by spirits or evil demons, but by us. Ouija boards work on a principle called the ideometer effect. In 1852, physician and physiologist William Benjamin Carpenter published a report for the Royal Institution of Great Britain explaining automatic muscular movements that take place without the conscious will. The unconscious mind is very powerful, and we've yet to tap in to all the mysteries present in the mind. Hope you enjoy this video journey of discovery. Please like, watch, comment, and subscribe. See you next time!